So
Sure.
please introduce yourself and the course and also the university.
Right. Hello there. I'm Tachpong Seung. You might also know me by my nickname. I'm Putter. I'm currently a medical student at Monash University, and this is kind of my second year here. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit like the pathway to be here? How can you join and choose the medical school at Monash University?
Yeah, sure. Honestly, it was a lot of deliberation because, going into medicine, like wherever you end up learning, it's gonna dictate a lot of your initial work life, your internship, and where you're gonna end up studying. Yeah, and so I ended up landing with Monash University because essentially they provided like a really good, from what I've looked at and from what my counselors also told me, it is really good teaching and it has a really nice community here in Australia. And not only that, but of course they speak English, and that's also something I find really important. Having an international school background, they speak the language that I'm most comfortable with, and would also be something I would be comfortable with working in the future. Yeah.
So when you're applying for Monash University, which entrance exam you have to take? The BMAT or like the interview session? Can you like talk about a little bit?
Sure. So for Monash University, I had to take the ISAT.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the international, actually I'm not sure what it stands for, but yeah.
Put it on for you.
Okay, sure. Yeah, and I also took the SAT to get into here, as well as IELTS, English, yeah.
And what is like the motivation to join the medical school?
I see. It's definitely a peak question that every medical student gets asked. Yeah. For me, I mean, honestly, it's kind of a cliche answer, but like we get into medicine because we want to be able to help people. Like for me, if I were to give it a bit more nuance, like it's because I want to make like a bigger impact, that like bigger positive impact than a negative one in the world. And not only that, but I find medicine to be a course where you constantly strive to improve yourself. And when you improve yourself, you end up being able to provide better care to your patients in the future as well. And I just find this self-growth and this really fulfilling job to be something I really want to pursue in the future.
And you might see some review or like have some expectation before you came to Melbourne, right? So is the expectation meets the reality?
Let's see. Well, I would say initially, it might have been a bit of a shock because coming to Australia, I've never been outside of Asia before.
Okay.
Yeah. But most of it was pretty pleasant. At first, I thought the community might be a bit colder, like I don't know how they would treat me as like, a foreigner who's just moved here to begin with. But it's actually really nice. I have to say, Australia is one of the nicest communities I've ever been to, and I'm really happy to have been here, actually.
Are you more surrounded with international students or domestic students?
Actually, in the medical course, I would say it's kind of like a half-half, because while there are, selectively fewer international students, there are also a lot of domestic students but they are often really nice to you as well. They're really inclusive, and I'm really happy to have them.
So can you tell a little bit about the course, whether it's more to be like a practical learning at Monash that they were like telling everyone that they are very practical rather than theory? Are you agree with that?
Oh, actually, I'm very much to that, actually, yeah. Even though I'm still in my preclinical years, like in my second year, even then, we started things like this thing called clinical skills, which is where we start practicing medical skills on real people, like, but also a lot of times they like using simulated patients. But this experience is like very real, it's very hands-on. And I think if you're into that kind of a thing, then you'd definitely be interested in this.
So you mean like the technology and the equipment that they were using, they are like real patient, right?
Yeah, they would have patients come in. Sometimes they would also hire clinical, what do you call them? I'm not sure. Yeah.
Real patient for you?
Yeah, sort of. It's like sometimes they often make up a case and then they have them come in and then you kind of interview them and then you kind of do all the examinations you're supposed to.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And can you talk about the learning system at Monash, and also like is there assignment and how was the exam so far?
Okay. So at Monash, I believe it's a new thing they introduced ever since COVID, but all the lectures right now are pre-recorded and they're online. And even then, they're still constantly updating them, and they're really adapted to feedback. When we give them it, they're kind of contributing to improving it as we're learning it. But overall, I find it really convenient because you can pause it and you can just watch it like whenever you need to. And especially if you live really far away, your schedule doesn't look as bad as what my traditional medical students might have looked like in the past.
Yeah. So, but it's still combined on campus and online, right?
Oh yes. So online are basically only the lectures, and we go onto campus for every other hands-on thing because Monash likes to be practical with their activities. So yeah, we'd have workshops in person. So those are like huge gatherings of where we might have like the entire cohort trying to figure out a case that they bring up. There might also be tutorials where they might teach a bit more like person to person on more complicated subjects, stuff like that.
So you mean the schedule for a medical student will be very packed, right? And how was your weekends look like?
I see. Yeah, for a medical student, I would say it is a bit more packed than what I've seen from friends of other courses. I would say. So my weekends, to be honest, I do spend most of it studying. Although that is mostly because they refresh their content. Seems like right before every weekend. I'm not sure if it's like this for other years as well, but that seems to be the case for me. But even then, there's often at least 1 day or 2 days off like throughout the week. And I find that even though I'm not doing any part-time work currently, a few of my friends are actually. So one of them is actually doing retail, like another is like working as a barista. So yeah, I think it's definitely all about time management. Like if you can manage your time well, then you'll definitely feel like you have more than enough time to get everything done.
So is there any recommending place for you to like have a study? Is it Melbourne, like supporting like libraries or something?
Definitely. Melbourne has like a lot of students, and a lot of them they like going to. Honestly, it's kind of a touristy place nowadays as well. But if you've never been there, you should try visiting State Library Victoria.
So that's a highway place for you to study as well?
Oh yeah, it's pretty nice.
So is there any tourist place or like attraction that you find yourself like to stay in on your holidays?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm more of an introvert person myself, so I like going to places kind of on my own. But if you have the time, a few places I definitely recommend visiting. It's a bit further down south, but you should head down to like Great Ocean Road. Definitely have a look at that. A lot of really nice geo spots. Maybe rent a car for that. It's kind of far. Yeah, and there's also like Phillip Island if you want to go see like penguins. There was a really nice march over there, but definitely upgrade the ticket if you're gonna see it because you can see it a lot closer. Yeah.
And what about the Melbourne weather? How do you find it?
It's very hit or miss, I would say. The weather is, honestly, on most days I do find it okay. Like if you kind of like the cooler kind of weathers, then you might like it. Yeah.
And what about the transportation? How do you find like it hard to get to the campus because you're not studying right in the city as well, right?
Yeah, it is rather far. At first, I was questioning whether that would be okay, but overall, I do find the transport to be rather, reliable. I would say it's reliable enough. I've been using public transport for like a year, and I've only ever had it make me late like one time in the entire year, so it's not too bad. But a lot of people here, for some reason, really dislike the transport. But I think just comparatively, it does feel a lot more reliable than the one in Thailand. Yeah.
So, lastly, can you tell for one who like making a decision whether should they study like medical school in Australia or not? Can you like recommendation or like motivation for them as well? Like why Monash Medical School?
Why Monash? I see. Well, I would say Monash offers like a lot of opportunities, and truth be told, they are a highly ranked university, and I would say that is for a pretty good reason. The tutors, the professors especially, they put a lot of care into the lessons, and you can really feel it because they often bring on guest lecturers and people who are really passionate about their stuff. Like when you ask them questions, they give you a wholehearted answer, like whenever you need it. Yeah, not only that, but if you're into like research opportunities, I have looked at the upper years as well, and they always get ample opportunities to do it, especially in like public health sectors and all of that, really. And just to cap it off as well, the curriculum I would say is really gives you a really big view of like medicine as a whole, like right from the very start. So like you're not just kind of hammered in on only the biomedical perspective. You just get a full perspective of medicine as a whole from the start. And I find that really beneficial for you if you're kind of curious about whether this is what you want to be doing in the future.
And also, why one education? Any help, support that you feel like this is a place where a student should feel like comfortable like talking to?
Well, personally, I actually had a pretty good experience with one education because admittedly, actually, if I had never found one education, I don't know if I would be doing medicine right now. Yeah, because I had a really hard time like applying at the start. I applied to some universities that, honestly, I'm not even sure if I applied properly because I never got a response. This was a few in UK and some other places as well. Yeah, but yeah, when I tried contacting One Education, honestly, they gave me like really clear, like streamlined process of like how I could actually apply to universities in Australia. And I also got like many recommendations on what I should do and what I would need essentially. So yeah, that made it a lot simpler for me to just go ahead and get the scores I need and send it, and then my agent or my counselor, could just send them in, and then it was just a lot easier and it was really stress-free. I really recommend it, like if you have the chance.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.